towards the At's position. The Molotov comes in, but so does the rotation. Olaf Maestro has been taken out towards the B bomb site, but Automatic's going towards A. Nothing else is going on. He's got to go back. Stewie's on his own, but look at the time. Look at the time. There's 7 seconds. They've got the bomb. They're trying to build pyramids, but there's no more play. Stewie's won the round. We're going to overtime.
Cloud9 have done it. How have they done that? They came back all the way. All the way. Miss a single shot. Guardian waits patiently as Cloud9 sets the push up. Oh, it's happened! They made it work! Cloud9 are your E-League Major champions!
There is a game that has existed in 4 different decades, has seen 6 presidential elections, and has been around longer than some of its pro players have been alive. It's a game that has had millions of players, tens of thousands of professional players, and thousands of tournaments. It is the game that never dies. It is Counter-Strike, and with all of its tournaments, of course, not all of them are equal. Some have prize pools of hundreds, some of thousands, and some of tens of thousands, and even some with millions. And with these tournaments, there are the major tournament winners, the greatest players to ever grace the game of Counter-Strike. These players will live on in the history of one of the biggest games of all time. But that's not who we're talking about today. This is a video about those that have come so close only to fail just short of the prize. Those that have put everything they have into winning, yet still ultimately lose. But it isn't just lose at tournaments or individual games. These are the players that can't seem to win in the one tournament that matters, the Valve-sponsored majors. Now, there always were Valve-sponsored events, this being known as the majors themselves, before the release of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, that being the trailer you see right now. The thing was that during this time, Counter-Strike and esports itself was not at all what it is today with millions of dollars and viewers. Before the boom of Global Offensive, there were many other Counter-Strike games, and the biggest being Source and 1.6 that are nothing compared to what we have today. And in these games, there were majors as well. So it makes winning one in Global Offensive so much more important, and why is it that players will commit their entire being to try to win one, and yet many still fall short? Well, the answer lies in what makes Major special. It isn't about the prize or the money, it's about becoming a legend. By winning a Counter-Strike Major, you have made your mark on history. You will be remembered as a major winner and one of the best players to ever play the game. That's what getting a major under your belt does, and that's why everybody wants one. Now, obviously not everybody can win a major. Most people aren't ever even meant to win a major. But that's because most people aren't one of the greatest players of all time. Nico, genuinely one of the most incredible players in all of Counter-Strike. In 2016, he was ranked 11th, in 2017, 2nd, 2018, 3rd, and in 2019, 11th once again. For 4 years, Nico stayed in the top 20. And his tournament results matched his consistency, from S-tier ESL 1 events to hundreds of thousands of dollars in leagues, he has remained one of the best players to ever play CSGO. While he first started out on Mouse Sports, most of his good tournament results came from FaZe Clan, where they made one of the greatest juggernauts CSGO has ever seen. During the time, FaZe Clan was simply so stacked with some of the talent of the time that it was almost destined to win a major. And those incredible tournament results that I mentioned earlier, that was all on FaZe Clan. They went through so many leagues, tournaments, everything, dominating. And they were winning and winning and winning all the way up until the major. And Nico was always a huge part of this success, his skill never wavering. So, if this video is about not the winners, but the losers, what happened? What happened at the E-League Boston Major that made Nico still not be a major winner? It's not like FaZe Clan just lost immediately when they got into the tournament. They dominated the entire thing, only ever dropping a single map. They were the #1 team all the way up until the finals. What happened? Why did they lose right then and there when they needed to win the most? Well, it was because there was one other team that had a better story than they did. Even if 4 out of the 5 people on FaZe Clan, if they had won there, Nico included, it would have been their very first major. But on the other side of the world, there was an entire continent waiting for their first major. Up until that point, North America hadn't had a single team win a major. Not a single one. In a lot of ways, if this major hadn't happened, perhaps I would have made a dream too far for North America. But this time, North America brought Cloud9. The story of Cloud9 through the E-League Boston Major, of course, Boston being in the United States, is probably one of the greatest stories ever told in CSGO. They were an underdog, having never won a major and going up against FaZe Clan nonetheless, who again, let me remind you, was one of the most stacked teams ever made, and then ultimately beating FaZe Clan, Nico included, was quite a story to see. Yet, even I remember, as I watched these very images, I was of course rooting for North America and Cloud9, yet as they won, I remember thinking, what about the other players? What about Nico and the 3 others who had just lost one of their only chances to become major winners? Many of them had been in this position before, but for Nico, this is the first time that he had ever been in a major final. Hopefully not his last time, but for now, that dream of winning a major title is still just a little too far. In my opinion, Nico is one of the greatest players to never win a major title. However, he doesn't really compare to our next player. Well, very few people do. Simple. There isn't really much you can say about this player that hasn't already been said. He was 4th in 2016. He was 8th in 2017. And he was the best player of 2018. And in 2019, he was the 2nd best player. And he's still a contender for the best player of 2020. That means he has gone for 4 years straight in the top 10. 10 times he's been named the MVP, and twice he's been to major finals. By now, perhaps you know he didn't win in those finals, but in terms of outright mechanical skill, he is the greatest to never win. And to some, he is just simply the greatest. Now, as of right now, yes, some people consider him the greatest player of all time. However, he is still quite young. Right now, he's only 23. So out of the people that I will be talking to in this video, he probably has the best chance of making it to a grand finals once again and winning. But really, in my opinion, his skills do all the talking.
Double smokes in the same place there. Simple is jumping casually into the side. He's going to fall down again. What is this shot from Simple? Are you serious? What is that? You can't do that, Simple. Just Simple, I don't know, man. If he's comes in with that. That's the no-scope. So it could be really rough for Simple to actually get through this. He's going to throw the AWP. Oh my God. Simple, what is happening?
There are so many legendary plays that belong to Simple. But in reality, I still think his story isn't written yet. I think there's so much more to Simple that we still haven't seen, and maybe a major title in the future. So I think I'm going to end it kind of early with Simple. But I think it would still be a disservice to not include him in the video. He is, mechanically speaking, and at least for now, one of the greatest players to never win a major. In almost every sport, there are those that are called the greatest to never win. I am a fan of Formula 1, and in Formula 1, there was a driver named Stirling Moss. He is almost universally seen as the greatest to never win. I think there's really only one player in CSGO that can also be seen as universally the greatest to never win. Guardian to me is easily the greatest player to never win a major. He was ranked 10th in 2013, 11th in 2014, 2nd in 2015, 17th in 2016, 9th in 2017, 11th in 2018. 6 times, 6 years in a row, where Guardian was in the top 20 best players in the world. 3 times, Guardian has made it to a major final, and 3 times he has gotten second. First, twice with Navi, and for the 3rd time, he was on that same roster that Nico was on, FaZe Clan. They were supposed to win. Guardian was supposed to win. Yet, the dream was just a little too far. That is why I bring up Stirling Moss in Formula 1. There are so many people that know him as the greatest to never win in Formula 1. But he is known also as the gentleman racer. He has given up race wins to have a fair race. He is a legend even without the championship. And in a sense, that's why I made this video. Guardian, Nico, Simple, all don't have a major. So many more people don't have majors as well. Of course, there will always be more losers than winners. Guardian, Simple, and Nico all know that. But what I think not everybody understands, and what I hope these 3 players, these 3 amazing players understand, is that even without the major, they are still legends.
Maybe the only chance, but Guardian comes back in. Oh, Guardian, he gets 2! There's still more to go though. Cloud9 must plant the bomb, the peaks come in, but Guardian will not stop! 1 more to go, and Guardian gets them all!
Have a lot of another smoke, so it could be really rough for Simple to actually get through this. He's going to throw the AWP in. Oh my god! Simple, what is happening?
What even is that?
Well, as Mouse's buy is going to be torn away from them very, very quickly by Titan. Oh my god, Nico gets 3, 4! Oh my lungs, I don't believe it! Shox then has just to find 1 more. The molly isn't going to touch him. And what on earth has just happened as Deagle is on fire and Shox is going to walk into it as well.